This is the talk show that takes a no-holds-barred approach to politics, where truth and integrity are the standard and the Constitution honored. From Renaissance Studios, this is Champion News Talk Radio.
Good morning and welcome to another great edition of Champion News Talk Radio, brought to you by championnews.net. This is Carol Parisi. Today, our founder, Jack Roser, and myself have a phenomenal guest by the name of Steve Balich. Thank you for joining us, Steve. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me come out.
Outstanding. Hey, Jack, how are you today?
Well, opinions differ. You'll find some people think I'm a bad guy, but we had awfully good time at the
TCon a few weeks ago.
Yeah. Certainly, the Tea Party people are ascendant in joining together for making good politics. Steve, I was down to Homer Glen, which is what town do you actually live in?
I live in Homer Glen.
Homer Glen, okay. Mm-hmm. That's pretty far south of where I live, and so
Very
I'm not
far.
familiar with all. But I went down there some months ago for a big Tea Party thing you had with, I think there were well over 800 people there.
Yeah.
And the press was, letting it be known that a bunch of malcontents that are unruly and breaking things up and not to be trusted, stupid people. And I sat on the stairs above the area where the 800 people were sitting. And I saw a bunch of people that listened to 6 different people delivering speeches. And they cheered at the right spots and were silent at the rest. And they were orderly for a couple hours in card table chairs. It's certainly remarkable, the kind of people that have joined together in the Tea Party movement. And I shouldn't be so surprised, because I'm so damned old. I think I'm the oldest Tea Party guy in the state, but I never had this much company.
Well, you know what? This is so true, because this wonderful thing called the Tea Party movement, this American populist movement, is going to make a difference in elections, like they did in 2010. 2012 is even more important. And Steve is...
One of the good things about the Tea Party people is they know what it is about.
Americanism.
It's Americanism.
That's all it is.
It goes back to our founders and the way this country extended an opportunity. All of us that are here came from other places.
Mm-hmm. When you talk about that, Tea Party, and where we are, Will County Tea Party Alliance and Homer Lockport Tea Party, it encompasses not just Republicans, it encompasses all kinds of Democrats, not progressive Democrats.
Well, the Ronald Reagan Democrats.
And, I found that a Democrat is getting hurt just as bad as a Republican on every single thing that our great President Barack Obama is sticking us with. The whole bottom line is that the Democrats, back with John Kennedy, John Kennedy was almost an original Tea Partier when he got rid of the Federal Reserve and printed his own American money.
Yeah, well, let's...
when you look at it in a large scale, these used to be called Blue Dog Democrats. Mm-hmm. Anybody that's not a progressive, like Barack Obama and Dick Durbin and all the rest of them, they all need to come together, and Tea Party is a place for them. We welcome them.
I think so. The trouble is that the Democrat Party that's in power is they are not your father's Democrats. Right. When there were people that stood for something decently for the working man, when that was a requirement, before the unions went crazy and got out of control. The unions, they aren't the friend of the working man or anybody. They're running us broke. And downstate in Springfield, you have some Democrats, but they're very hard to see any good ones, because they're sure dominated by Madigan, who has given us this busted economy and a school system that's no good, but very expensive. And with pensions for so many people, government workers. They way outrun the pensions for any of the people that are working in the free economy.
Absolutely.
So there's plenty of room to be sore about the people that are running the party. And you've got that Irish pixie. I'm half Irish myself, but not proud at all of Mayor Daley and the debt he left behind. He left one busted city, and Madigan sits on top of a pile of debts downstate. It's time for your father's Democrat to join in with the Tea Party people.
Absolutely.
And vote these Democrats that gave us this reputation as the most crooked state of all and the most busted of all. What a reputation we got.
Well, Dan Proft ran for governor some time ago.
Yeah.
And he went around and he said one thing that resonated with me and I think a lot of other people. The state isn't broken. It's designed to be what it is now, so that all these Democrats in power get money, get power.
Now go into that a little more,
They're not
Steve.
broke.
They're not
It's
broke.
the taxpayers broke.
We're paying every single resident in Illinois is paying for Michael Madigan and the rest of the Democrats to get all the power and all the money. And then they turn around and they use unions and they use every single group of people that they can use to keep their power and keep their money coming. But in the end, everybody gets hurt.
But
The
now
two biggest groups that give the Democrats like Madigan the power, one group is the unions and the other is the trial attorneys. These stinking trial attorneys are the ones that are driving up the cost of all medical care with their class action suits, and they sue doctors, and the lawyer pockets all of the expenses and a third of the money that they get, often in a thing of millions. You know, there are all kinds of classes of doctors that won't work in Illinois because their insurance will cost them, for ordinary fellows that are operating or on hearts and difficult things, their insurance against these ravening
malpractice insurance
lawyers.
That's right.
How would you like to be in a business where your personal thing, you're a worker as a doctor, and your insurance costs you $3,000 a week? Now that's common. Well, it can go up from that.
Yes. Do you remember when we had
$3,000
Where do they
a week?
get the money to pay
when
that?
we had Dr. Ari
That's before
Friedman
you
on?
hire a nurse for your and somebody to run the office.
Right.
$3,000, and we all wind up paying it
for that.
through the high cost of insurance. And this guy Obama, it's the attorneys and the unions that are keeping that guy in there to torture us.
And why can't they cross state lines for insurance? You know, simple things. Tort reform and crossing state line and getting insurance anywhere in the United States. No, you have to buy
a setup.
certain places, so you pay more money.
It's a setup. That allows those politicians downstate to get the insurance companies that are in their state and make them cough up the money, if not into the pockets of these politicians, then into their campaigns. And what makes the Democrats that are busted this state downstate, it makes them so powerful politically because they've got these ravening unions of government workers. You know, if you wanted to have the terms of these guys down in Springfield limited, you don't have to go for term limits. Just bring their pensions down to some decent level or get rid of them altogether. You'd find automatic term limits when they didn't have it so damn cushy down there.
Well, here's the irony of all this. While the Democratic Party has moved progressive, they have counted on and relied on the traditional Democrats to continue to vote Democratic. But these policies are hurting Democrats. These policies are hurting communities, statewide, nationwide, citywide. And there's going to come a time, and I believe it's going to happen soon, where the Blue Dog Democrats, the Democrats that Jack remembers back in the 60s that stood for something, that were honorable, are going to stand up and revolt.
I will tell you.
This is Mike Brown, the man that runs the cameras. We have a beautiful studio, and Mike is very technically qualified. But I don't know about all his comments back there. Are you a crackpot or what?
Spot on. You know, I will tell you, and we're here with Steve Balich today, who's actually a Tea Party leader and somebody that's actually taking action by stepping up to run for a local office, because all politics is local, all elections have consequences. But this is we didn't introduce you in that way, and I'm sorry for that.
That's all right.
But when we come back from the break, we will talk more about what you've done as a Tea Party leader and what you are doing and stepping out, like a lot of these good Tea Party folks are, and grassroots are actually stepping up, much as our founders have done, to actually take back our government to better government. When we come back after the break, we're going to be talking to Steve Balich. And remember, these are not your mama's or grandmama's Democrats. So if you're a Democrat and listening, I know that a lot of you are concerned about what's going on in America.